Howdy, folks. Today I'm going to talk about modes. Modes of the musical scale and how they apply to trap music and other music for that matter, but I'm focusing on trap. Remember, my videos are generally to help aspiring TV music composers, new musicians to music theory, helps get them some fundamental concepts covered. So I'm going to talk about modes. It's not as scary as you think. A quick way to identify what a mode is from a conceptual perspective. You ever been to the movies and you're watching the opening credits and you hear that, or when they're getting ready to tell you, concession stands, blah, 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 and we're getting ready for the show's about to start, and you hear something like this. That's not a regular scale, it's a slightly different thing. Or you can go The Simpsons. That's a very common one. Probably resonates with a lot of people watching. But for the older folks, that's Maria from The Greatest Musical Ever. But yeah, so you hear that sound. It's not normal, but it's not bad. It's just different. That's a different mode of a scale. It's Ionian, the major scale we know today. That's a certain sound. It's called Ionian. It's the major scale in Western music. But, to get that Simpsons sound, the sharp 4 in there, well, we play the C scale. We raise the 4. Well, what happens when you do that? If you're in C and you make the F natural and F sharp, we have one F sharp now. That's the same thing as G major. So the scale we're playing, the C with the F sharp, is really the same thing as starting your G scale, but on the 4th scale degree. 2, 3, 4. Now let's continue that G scale, but starting on the 4th scale degree. Claimed it. So that's a C Lydian. Lydian is the 4th mode of the G major scale. So that's one way to look at modes. So let's stay now in the key of C. This graphic I've got on screen here is there for a reason. So Ionian mode is the first mode. Now D Dorian, we're going to start our scale on D. That's our 1. Because if you go back to C, what is the 1 chord? The 1 chord is the chord built on the first note of the scale and the key that you're in. So we're in C. So if we play a chord, a triad, based on, that starts on the first note of the C major scale, that gets us our C major chord. But now we switch modes. Let's go to D. We're going to stay in the key of C, all the white keys. Now we have a minor scale, but it's got some other things going on. It has that major 6 in it, minor 3rd. Then we go to E Phrygian. E Phrygian, the 3rd mode of C. Minor chord, but we have a flat 2 now. Let's go to F Lydian. We're staying in the key of C, all the white keys. Mixed Lydian. It just sounds major. The only thing that changes there is that the 7th is flatted. Aeolian. And then B Locrian. That just doesn't sound like it's whole. Doesn't sound like it's done or resolved or tonicked. It's just... it needs to go somewhere. I'll better we've resolved it to something that sounds like a tonic or a tonal key center. So those are modes. Modes are different scales and key centers that depend on where you start, what note the scale starts on and what key the scale is in. So in this particular graphic, these are all the different modes: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, Aeolian, Locrian. And when you stay on all the white keys, no sharps, no flats, those are the sounds that you get. So what I wanted to do, I've been listening to a lot of trap lately, writing a lot of trap lately, and there are certain modes that are very, very trap friendly. And the real things that you hear a lot, everything trap's always in minor keys. You never hear trap in major keys. It's very, very rare. Let's put it that way. Trap is minor, but is the fifth? I'm sorry, is the sixth note flatted or not? Is the second note flatted or not? That's really when you get to different modes, and those are two specific modes I'm going to show you. Let me just show you an example now. So here we are in Logic. What I did was I wrote a simple, 8-bar phrase, a trap beat. The bass note stays on the root. In this case, it's D. And then I changed the notes in the riffs and the background riff as well, so that we enter new keys. In other words, we're changing the mode of the D scale. So I'm starting in chronological order. So the first one, D Ionian. It's all the notes are for D major, so it's very happy sounding. It's not trap sounding at all. So we're going to start there. Let me view the editor. Here we go. And you'll see the keyboard there. You see the notes below if you can read music. And you'll see the differences. And so I'll kind of call out the keys over. You can see that I've labeled them at the very top in the red row. So D Ionian, the first mode of D major scale, is all major. It's the regular, two sharps, F sharp, C sharp is part of your D scale. D Dorian, we're playing a scale of D, but as the second mode of C major, so we're playing all the white keys. And then D Phrygian, that's the third mode of the B flat major, so it's the D scale, but in the key of B flat, which means B flat, E flat, no sharps, etc., etc. So you'll see that on the scales below. Now let's just start from the beginning, and you can follow along, and you're going to hear the differences of the modes in these 7 examples. And again, the first one's major. I had to play it because that's what Ionian is, but it doesn't really fit the genre, but I wanted to get out of the way up front. So here's the Ionian, and then the rest of the modes. Major scale, major third, major seventh. So it puts the sound in your head. Now the second 4 bars are different. Very happy, very major sounding, very diatonic, very Western. This is sounding pretty trappy. The flat 2 and the flat 6. Yeah, see? That's trap to me. Phrygian mode. Here's the movie theater Simpsons. I couldn't get the A flat to look like a G sharp in notation mode in Logic. My apologies to the Enharmonic Note Police. This is major except for the 7th is flatted. Okay, so Aeolian, also called the relative minor. So it's D, but the key of F. Normal second, but a flatted 6th. And Low Korean, the most despised of the 7 major modes. It just doesn't sound like it's resolving anywhere. And there you go. So the 7 modes of the major scale, as exemplified by a trap groove. So again, if we're in any key, a lot of trap music is in A minor or in F minor. So let's just use F minor. And now, to get the sound you're looking for, is it I'm using a flat 6. What's the difference between that and a major 6? This. Versus flat 6. Now, if you look at a tune like Superhero, that's out now, Metro Boomin Future, Chris Brown, that's a iconic minor 6th, which is the Aeolian mode. F minor is the 6th of A flat, the Aeolian. So let's listen to that. That's Superhero right there. Get the flat 3rd and the flat 6. Okay, so that's one pop example of the Aeolian mode being used in trap. So basically, modes are different tonalities built on scales, and the scales are defined by what key signature you apply to them. So you could take an F scale, but put it in the key D flat. So instead of just one flat, you're going to have 4 flats. Okay, so it's the same scale, F, but the mode changes. So that's what modes are, basically. Ionian being major, Dorian being the 2 chord, Phrygian the 3, Lydian being the 4, Mixolydian being the 5, Aeolian being the 6th, Locrian being the 7th. So what did we hear? I think what I've learned and recognized is that Phrygian is in most common, or very common, or at least very trap genre friendly. Let's play that again. Let's get that flat 2. There's our minor, but it's and a flat 6. Then we jump to Aeolian. This does not have the flat 2, it has the major 2nd. Right there. Compo. That major 2, that natural 2. If it was Locrian, it would have that flatted 2. But it has the... So this is slight mode change. So I guess that's really all I wanted to show was the different modes. Same musical example in trap, covering the 7 different modes. Hope that was useful. Hope I didn't confuse you more. At a minimum, I hope I piqued your curiosity to explore modes as a way to get out of a creative rut. Think about flatting your 6th. Think about flatting your 2s. The 6th note of the scale degree, the 2nd note of the scale degree. And don't be afraid when you hear the word mode or scale degree or flatted 6th or sharp 4 or whatever. Embrace the genres, the theory behind the genres of the music that you love and want to compose. Don't embrace ignorance. Don't be proud of not being able to read music or not knowing music theory. It's not good to be intentionally, functionally illiterate in your chosen craft. Can you be successful not knowing theory and not knowing how to read it? Of course, there's myriad examples, but you should always want to understand the vocabulary, the vernacular of a profession that you want to be successful in. It'll help you work smarter and harder. Because now if you're listening, you can start listening to stuff and say, hey, that sounds like it's a flatted 2nd going to the root, or it's a flatted 6 going to the 5. I'm going to use that. And you start hearing these things, and the more different things you listen to, the more you study, the more your ear picks up, the quicker you can write, copy, emulate, steal, etc. The goal is to create music for TV, you got to write a lot of music, not just good music, but a lot of it. You're not going to make any money with occasional a track every month. You're not going to make a whole lot of money. If your goal is to make revenue in the TV business, you've got to generate a lot of tracks. They've got to be good. They got to be placeable. But the more you know them by ear, the more you can identify, the better chance you have of working quicker, smarter, and getting more placements. So that being said, thanks so much for listening. Complex, somewhat difficult topic at times. Hopefully this video was useful. Thanks so much for stopping by.